Well, hello. Hey, everybody. Happy Thursday. I'm sorry for the delay today, but, I had to drive my husband to one of those appointments where, they require him to have a driver coming home. But everything went fine. So I'm here to reveal our week 31 design with you today. So those of you who are new to us, I'm Paula Montgomery from Desert Cat Creations, and it's time for our weekly design reveal. So on Sundays, we draw our cards to see what we're going to make during the week. This week, we drew the Make a Beaded Bead card. We also use pink, white, and buttons in our design. And our design has to be inspired by Walk on the Beach. So you'll get to see if we actually achieve all that by the time we finish our design today. So that's what we're going to work on today. I am going to be using super small beads today because I'm going to make a beaded bead using size 11 delicates. So I will try to zoom in and hopefully you guys will be able to see at least a little something. If not, I know many of you are seed beaters and you know peyote and all those things way better than I do, but I'm going to show you what I know today. And I will say I learned it and got kind of hooked on doing peyote stitch from watching Stars Beads, and Kristen Ho was on there and demonstrated how to make a peyote ring, which I love making those. And once I get started, I end up making like 3 or 4 or 5 of them before I put them away and move on to something else. But I will say these beaded beads I think are also addictive. I make a lot of them and I'm going to show you. I actually have my earrings have a beaded bead in them, and I'll show you when we flip the camera over a couple different styles of beaded beads that I have made. There's plenty more out there, and I'm sure that many of you, especially if you're into those seed bead stitches, probably know a lot of variety of beads. But before we get there, the big announcement, yay! My cactus garden kits will be officially on sale tomorrow. So those of you that have already ordered, I have your orders and I will be sending you an invoice. But I will start shipping next week. So what is our cactus garden kit, you ask? Well, so it's going to be 3 different kits, and the reason it's 3 different kits is because I had to write separate directions for each of these. In the past, often my kits involved like multiples of the same thing in different sizes, because you had animals, so you had baby animals and adult animals or whatever. These are plants, and they're all different, okay? But they are big and sparkly. They all use crystals from Thunder Crystals? My brain is fried today. Anyways, from Bedoria, they are the suppliers of my crystals. So anyways, we have our saguaro cactus, and just for reference, if you make him the same size I do, which you can adjust your kit, you don't have to do it exactly as I did, but he's about 5.5 inches tall. So just to give you reference. Our second kit is our prickly pear cactus kit. And this one has a bunch of different shaped sparkly beads. So they're all kind of purpley teal. This guy, well, the way I made him, and you can make him differently than I did, but if he comes out to just under 4 inches tall, so that gives you an idea. So here they are next to each other. Okay, and then our third guy that we're offering Yes, this little barrel cactus. I have modified him since my initial prototype, and I'm very happy with him. But he has blooms and sparkles, and they all look lovely together. They all coordinate very well. So, like I said, there's 3 different kits. This guy is the cheapest because he has the fewest number of beads, right? And the real specialty bead is his body, the cactus part itself, right? So the barrel cactus is going to be $10. The other 2 are both $16. If you buy all 3 of them together, I will give you $5 off your order. If you buy 2, you get $2 off your order, okay? You will have to pay shipping. But if you're interested, you can comment on this video, or I am going to put a post up in our Bead Stash Challengers group, which if you haven't already joined, and I will put an announcement out on the regular Desert Cat thing. But if you haven't joined our Bead Stash Challengers group, please join us. So this is where we share our designs that we make every week, and we also I give away a prize if you if you post on our group once a month. I do a random drawing and somebody wins, and all you have to do is post. So hey Patricia, thanks for joining me. Yes, these you do not have to worry about keeping alive. They will look the same a long time from now. So anyways, those are our new kits, and like I said, I'm gonna put up the official announcement either tonight or first thing tomorrow morning, and I will start shipping them out as early as next week. For those of you that are also fans of Star's beads, we will be doing a make along with her on one of them. I don't know which one yet, but we will be making those kits with her. Hey Diane, thanks for joining. I would be happy to sell you all 3, and like I said, you get $5 off as opposed to just the $1 off. So I will put you down if you want me to, and thank you in advance. Like I said, I don't know when we're going to do that make along, because it's 3 different designs and 3 different sets of instructions. I may do 3 separate make alongs. I could possibly make 2 of them in the same like hour, a little over an hour, but there's no way I can make all 3 of them in the same thing. So I'm actually thinking I'll do 3 different make-alongs, and those will probably either happen on my regular Sunday show, or like I said, the one with Kay, Stars Beads, I'm not sure if we're going to do it on her Bead With Me, which is usually a Monday or Wednesday, or if we're going to do it on my show, which, like I said, it would be Sunday because Thursdays is our design reveal. But, you know, we could do something special all together. But either way, those videos will be out there. All right, Diane, I got you down. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I mean, it's just something a little different. And you know what? You know, your rabbits and all those things would look great standing in your garden. Even your turtles, if you make him less of a sea turtle and more of a land turtle, all you gotta do is flip his feet down, right? We have desert tortoises all over the place here. So anyways, thank you for that. But let's go ahead and get started, because like I said, this project's gonna be a little slow today. So let me flip that. See if I can zoom in. So I'm gonna zoom in a little extra with the hope that you will actually be able to see a little bit of what I'm doing today. But I just want to say, so remind everybody, so the cards we drew this week, we have to make a beaded bead. So, like I said, my earrings use these, which I actually made a link out of the beads, but this is a peyote design, and then I made links by putting like metal washers on the ends, and you know, just running some wire through the middle. So that's one style. I've also made them like this one. I put on one of these spikes, and it's just sort of a fun design. I haven't actually done anything with this, but it was something I was playing with. These spikes, remember, are in our challenge beads that we sell also. Here's another style of beaded beads. These are squares, and I forget, I don't know if it's square stitch or whatever. This design I learned during the Great Bead Extravaganza a while back from Abby Berta over at the bead place, yeah. So there is a video out there on YouTube from Abby showing how to make these little cubed beads. So those are super fun. And the other beaded beads I've made, so there's two styles on this particular bracelet. So one, this is like, I used seed beads to make it's basically a ball, right? This was from a design that Kathy, I think of Kathy's last name, Kathy at Crafter's Paradise, showed us how to make these balls. It was sort of a ornament or something, but if you make them with seed beads, they're nice and small. Hey, Janelda. I was just showing the cactus, and we're discussing beaded beads. So, anyways, so these, we may make these one of these days live, but they're another kind of beaded bead. If you want a round circle, those work. And then I also have this metal, what I would consider a beaded bead. It's basically wire and crystals. This is another Abby Berta design, and I know she has a video on this one as well. I thought about making that today, but we are going to do peyote instead. So, anyways, that's just some style of beaded beads in case you don't know where you want to start. Alright, so we're making beaded beads. Now, we have to use white, so that's easy enough. I've got some white seed beads here. And we have to use pink. So I've got some pink seed beads here. And we have to use buttons in our design. So I am going to we're going to make something similar to this. And I'm going to use buttons as my end pieces, okay? So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. I haven't actually finished one yet, so I don't know that it's going to completely work, but I think. And we have to design something inspired by Walk on the Beach. So I decided I was going to use my beaded beads to make some earrings. So I have in my little bowl here, first of all, I have some earwares. I have some little buttons. So these are little 2-hole buttons. These are the same ones we used on our little piggy. So we're going to use those as our end caps on. We're basically going to make this bead and use those as an end cap. And then for my Walk on the Beach, I've got a little flip-flop charm that we're gonna use. All right. So I pre-strung my my thread because I wasn't gonna try to thread something live because sometimes it takes me a while because I'm getting old. I can't see the holes in my needles anymore. I think I need new glasses, and I do have a new prescription. I just haven't gone to get them yet, so one of these days. All right, so if you want to make a bead like this, so when I make the ones with the kind of Southwest design, this is an odd count peyote, and it's 9 across. I'm using 10 for this other bead because I'm just going to make it stripes and make it simple on myself because even count is way easier. But we're going to use 10 across, and then I actually need 10 rows to go around, and that size makes it so that you can slide these size 6 seed beads in there to make your bead nice and stable. So I don't know if you can see that. I've got beads in the middle of here. So sorry, I went off screen here. So. But all I'm doing is I'm putting a anchor bead on here, and I'm leaving a little bit of a tail. You should really sew your tail back in. I'm not going to worry about it too much here because, you know, the nice thing about making this an earring is that nothing, there's not going to be a whole lot of pressure on it. So I'm just going to put 10 beads, and I'm alternating. I'm going to put 2 white, 2 pink, 2 white, 2 pink, and 2 white. And those of you that know peyote, if you're reading a pattern, so that's your first 2 rows. Okay, and like I said, we're going to do a total of 10 rows, and I've got 10 across. So we are going to pick up a bead, and then you skip over the first bead, you go into the second bead. And try to pull it tight. You know, the first row is always the hardest to see. It's going to look a little messy, and my fingers are going to be in the way, but I will try to show you as I go. And you want, basically you want these beads to line up on top of one another, okay? So then I am going to pick up a pink bead because now I skipped, you're doing every other one pink and white in this design that I have since I'm doing stripes. So got that. So we skip over, pick up a white bead, skip over the next, go through the second white bead. Now I also did just the simple stripes because it is a simple repetition, so it's, you know, you're just alternating your colors each time, whatever color that stripe is. Hey, Veronica. Sorry if I'm, those of you on the East Coast, if I'm disturbing your dinner time, but I don't know, this may seem like a better time for you, for some of you. All right, and then once I get to the end of the second row, let me tighten those beads. You have something that looks, you know, you have a pattern that's 2 and then 1, then 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, right? So it should be alternating a little bit there. I'm not one of those people that can just turn it around without turning my project, so I flip it and then I go back the other way, and same thing. I'm gonna do every other one white through the bead sticking up. It's a little easier now because you're just tucking them into whatever the lower colors are, you know, and try to keep from getting your tail bead caught in there. So Janelle, I know you and Veronica joined us a little later. I am officially going to start shipping the kits next week, so I have you down already. But I will send you an invoice probably over the weekend. Very excited, and Kay has agreed to do a make along with me, but we haven't scheduled that, so it'll be sometime in late August or late September. So, all right, and then I'm just going to continue doing this every other one. I am using 11 size 11 Mayukis because I like the way they stack up better than round. Or the delicas, I'm using delicas, yeah. I thought about attempting it with some bigger beads just so it'd be easier for people to see, but I wasn't sure what I could use to stabilize the pattern or the bead once I made a bigger bead, so I'm gonna have to play with that. Ah! I just dropped my swirl on the ground, but that proves that he can take a little beating, I guess. Goodness. You know, working with long threads or long wires can be dangerous because you get things twisted up here. So, hoping I can finish this real quickly. Like I said, since I'm using a simple stripe pattern, it's pretty easy. You don't have to make some. Well, I wish you luck on your show. I'm sure you'll make some sales. I know things are a little quiet right now, but I mean, imagine if you're going to a convention or something that you will get some people there. Okay, I'm trying to hurry. I know this is kind of boring, huh? So. I cannot believe, you know, August is getting, we're already, you know, a weekend, right? I'm going on, you know, vacation in September, and as we planned it so long ago, it seemed like forever. It was taking forever to get here, and now we are almost there. So, hoping your regular show. Well, that's good. Is this the big? Is this the big convention, the big ham fest, or are you going somewhere else? Just a reminder for everybody. So I'm using size 11 delicas, and I'm using 4-pound Fireline. You could use 6-pound. I just for something that's, like I said, not going to get a whole lot of pressure put on the beads. The 4-pound is fine for this design. All right, we're almost halfway there. I know this is. So I've been, like I said, playing around with my tutorials, making sure I get them straight. I have to say, making these cactus was a little different, and by putting blooms on them as opposed to just the crystals, I completely had to change how I would have made them otherwise. All right, see the long, my long string is capturing my cactus over here, so. Oh, okay. 4 hours in Texas is pretty close. It's pretty quiet this time of year in Arizona, especially in Tucson, because the heat, you don't get too many vacationers. But there is a fall version, although it's significantly smaller, of the gem show that happens the last weekend in August. And there's actually at least three shows, so I'll go check them out. Sometimes you can find things that you don't find, in January, especially things like fall related colors. Shreveport, Louisiana. Okay. So Patricia, I've been seeing all your canning and gardening and everything you've been doing. It's a lot of work. I don't know how you do all that, but I can see where you're keeping busy this summer. We're getting there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. You just changed your sea turtles into land turtles. Hey, like I said, they'll look great in your little cactus garden. I have some land turtles to go with my sea turtles. Oh, hey, Lorraine. Glad you guys could all make it. I don't know, this seems like it's a good time for a lot of people. I just worry it's too close to dinner time for those of you guys on the East Coast, but it depends on what time you eat dinner, as I know some people are late eaters. Well, I will keep going. I know this is not very exciting to watch because it's so little, but see how we're doing here. We've got our stripes coming together, and you can see our little stitch. And basically you have to have an even number of rows so that when we twirl it around, the sides will connect together. So Diane and Patricia, we'd love to see more what you've been working on if you've had a chance to make anything. If you guys have time to post in our Bead Stash Challengers group, we also, like I said, you can get in on the August drawing. And you never know what I'll give away, so. Yeah. Now you guys know why I'm a slow seed beater. I know there's some ways that you can put what you use you use 2 needles or something to make it kind of speed along. I guess I would have to watch somebody do the speeding thing. And then I just realized that, see, I did I'm talking and not paying attention, and I put the wrong beads on. But better to catch it early, right? All right, let's switch those. I need white with white. So you guys, now that we're getting into, we have the crystal cactus, is there something else you guys would like to see crystal wise, whether it's a creature or a plant? I have an idea for at least one other type of cactus, but I'll have to see. I'll show you. Let's see. How many roses do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so we'll get to 10 real quickly. You would love a crystal. Yeah, I have made the kitty, but I'd have to go back to make him again. He is not an easy make. But he is possible. So, you know, when I started making kits for the crystal creatures, yeah, you guys would, my husband kind of challenged me to make some desert creatures, so I'm still tempted to make a, yeah, I'm still tempted to make the tarantula. Although, yeah, a lot of people know how to make spiders. Sorry, I can't talk and count at the same time. And I was thinking a scorpion. I also would love to make a roadrunner and or a quail. But I think to do them, we're going to have to do some bead weaving, not just wire work. So I'm still thinking about this. And I did have somebody ask me about an elephant, and I can see how to make the elephant. But it would also, you know, the ears itself would require some bead weaving, which is the problem with the cat. So, oh no, I think I have little, I have little blooms on my night bloomer too. No spider. Janelda. Okay, I need one more. So here, I can tell I need one more row because on the same side is the longest, so I need them alternating. So I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, I may need 2 more rows. Thought I was closer. Oh, cats and dog. So Diane, the dog is a similar problem to the cat. I've only made, I should say I've made, you know, because I did think about making a coyote. I would like to make a coyote. I did make one, and I'll have to show him to you guys sometimes. I didn't love him at first. He's grown on me a little bit, but I think I need a better design for him. But the problem with dogs is you have to pick sort of a specific type of dog. So I did make a dachshund for K. All right, I think I need 2 more rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Sorry, I need 2 more rows because I need 10 on both sides. No, it's fine. Yeah, I am going to work on the Roadrunner, and like I said, the quail, I think a quail would be super cute. Especially, you know, if I could figure out a baby. I did make a bear too. Somebody at one point, Ellen, I think, Ellen Jessie, had asked about bears, and I do have some bear designs. My first bear, I put his ears were too big, and I actually thought he looked more like a mouse than a bear. And mice are easy. I thought about Christmas mice too. Here, we could make him a little scarf or something. A quail in a nest. I didn't think about a nest, but yeah, because sometimes getting them to stand or sit up is one of the harder parts, right? All right, let's see. I think this is my last row. Yay! And then we'll show you what we've got here. All right, let's see if we're there. So we want to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I've got 10 rows across, 10 rows in length, and you'll see that, you know, on this row it's the shorter, and on this one it's the longer, so that when I combine these, they just kind of zip together. So now I'm going to close this into a round, so I'm just going to weave through the beads that are sticking out to bring these together. And then it's going to close nicely together. With these small, you know, making beads or making small things, sometimes it's awkward to hold these, but so maybe I need a, on the cat, you know, I should make a baby bobcat. We have a camera in our driveway, just to, you know, a security camera, but we also use it to see the wildlife that passes through. And a few weeks back we had a mother bobcat and her baby come through, her 2 babies, and they came through again yesterday, I think. All right, so you'll see it zip together, except for right here at the top, it's a little loose, so you have to come back down at least through that first bead, and I go down to the second row, and I am just going to stitch a couple together here just so it stays. And you know, if I was really paying attention, I wouldn't have a gap in here, which I don't. Let's see. All right, so I am gonna have to go down here real quick and kind of tighten this gap, otherwise my beads are gonna fall out when I put them in the middle. And I'm just going through the beads on the different rows. Oops, I got a knot in my thread. Here we go. So I'm trying to, there we go. Now I forget which direction I was going. There it is. It's very hard to, it's hard to see this even up close, so I know you guys can't. But you know, I just want to tighten up the seam, so I'm having to go across because I didn't pull my thread tight enough. So when you're doing your zip up, don't forget to pull your thread tight, so you don't have to waste time doing all this extra threading here. You know, I'm squishing this too. All right, I am just going to go through one more time, and then I am going to call it a day. All right. I should probably tuck my ends in more, but you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I am just going to trim these. And if you have a thread zapper, that works really well. But, all right, so now I've got this little column. Now what I like to do is pick some, like I said, size 6 seed beads. So I'm going to stick one on a piece of wire, and then I'm going to slide my bead over it. And then what I do is just put more on, and I, you know, push them into the middle of the bead until I can't push any more in there. Now, 4 beads works perfectly with 9 delicas. I have 10 on here, so I'm still going to use 4, but if your beads are loose, which this one is, they may slide around, so you do have to be a little careful when you take the wire out that your beads don't slip around. And sometimes, you know, if you're using, actually it looks like 5 would fit in there tightly. Now if you get them tightly and up against the ends, it tends to hold a little better, but this one side is loose, but we'll worry about that. So what I was thinking is these buttons do have double holes. So I think I'm going to use soft flex wire, and I had some white sitting here left over from something. Let me see if I can find the end of my wire. And the reason I wanted to use this is because it'll be easier to bend, right? So I'm going to go up through one hole, out through the other side. And basically what I'm going to do is make a link here. Now, one side will be able to attach to my ear wire, and the other side is going to attach to my charm. So if I want to put my charm on directly, now might be a good time to do that. Now I could put since this is soft flex, I can either just thread it back through, or I can thread it through a crimp bead to tighten up my circle, which it's probably not a bad idea. Let me, I haven't gotten my crimps out, but let's see what this looks like. All right. So this would require 2 crimps, right? So I'd want to put the crimp on first, and then I'm going to string it through. Now I could put my charm on with a you know, with a goodness sake, a jump ring. Apparently need more coffee today. All right. Now, since I need to run this back up through the bead and the button, I need to make sure I have enough wire. That's probably plenty. I'm going to, just so I can keep this tight, I'm going to go ahead and crimp my a quail in a nest. Oh, sorry, I never did respond. It's hard for me to yeah, I'll have to figure out a nest. I also want to find something that I could put sand in, so I can put my cactus in there. I think that would be fun. All right, so now I need to go through the second side of the button and then force this back up through those beads in the center. So let's pull that down there and push that through. All right. So I'm going to push this down as far as I can. And then this side, I'm going to do the same thing too. So that one side felt a little tighter. So it may be that I don't want that extra bead in the center, so that I can let's see if I can pop that out. I'm going to put one last bead in the center with the hopes that it'll let my buttons a little more firmly against the bead. Yeah. See how that works? All right, and now we can put our crimp on. Ooh, that one's messed up. Let's see if I can get, I don't know if I get 3 if I can get 3 pieces of wire through here or not, but we're gonna try. So, should be able to. But these crimps are a little small. Like I said, I bought them from the outlet, so some of them are a little misshapen. But, oh, that fit through. Okay. Need to pull my wire with. Yeah, it, like I said, normally they 3 will go through the crimp, but since these are, I bought these, like I said, from the outlet, I think, part, and so they're a little, they were on the outlet because they Some of them were a little off. But I think that's as far down as it's going to get. But I think it'll be okay. All right, let's do our crimp again. And, you know, I'm just sort of winging this and seeing how it goes. So. Now I need to trim carefully, make sure I don't trim the important pieces. And let's see. All right, now we're going to put this on here, and I may have to twist it around to get the charm going the right way. I didn't really think about that, huh? All right, I think the charm is dangling the other direction, so we'll see. That is one bad thing about using soft flex this way. But all right, so there we have. Like I said, I used soft flex for my dangle. We've got our beaded bead. And since I already made the other bead, we could try that again. Yep. Yeah, see, I have some messed up crimps in here. I hate to go through that. See how that works out. So, all right. So let's see if we're gonna do the other one. We put it through there, then put it through our bead. I think I only put 4 in there. I might have put 5 though, so guess we'll find out real quickly. One of these is this hole looks smaller to me. So anyways, there's another way to make a beaded bead and use it. Like, basically, I'm using my bead to make a link, right? So my crimper, all right. And now, all right, I'm gonna have to cut it because what did I forget? I forgot my button. All right, that's okay. Well, we'll just cut our thread and not a problem, right? But that bead really wanted to come out of there. So. I hate it when you forget things, like important things, like, and actually it's probably easier to put this on here. With its cut anyways, because then I can just thread these at the same time. I don't have to do one and then the other. So again, I've got my little tiny buttons on there. And let's see if we can finish this loop really quickly. So putting our crimp through the 2 wires. And I stuff our 3rd one through there. Move it up a little. Like I said, these particular crimps are a little small. I think they're really tight, but it's going through. Once you get your edge, you can pull this. All right, so pull that tight. All right, one more pull for this one, and then we'll crimp it, and we will be done. I pulled too far, so pull back a little. All right, well, you guys got the idea, right? There we go. All right. You know what? I'm just gonna go and crimp this. You know, you could probably do this with wire. You'd have to use pretty thin wire to go through the button, you know, and make a loop. So, all right, there we go. So, ravioli times 4. Yes, because we're making earrings. Yeah, I just thought, you know, I'd do something a little different and use it in earrings. So, oops. All right, let's see. Pay attention to which direction my charm is laying. All right, so there's my walk on the beach earrings with beaded beads. And I actually, you know, if you think about it, the beaded beads, the stripes, can kind of represent, you know, like the saltwater taffy if you're on the boardwalk, the beach near the boardwalk, right? So there we go. That's what those look like. My screen is really delayed, but hopefully you can see this. All right, if you like that project, show me some love, give me some likes and stuff. And for those that you didn't see the beginning, here's our cactus that will be going. I will be putting on the sale thing. So this is our barrel cactus. Again, this guy is $10. He comes with written instructions. We have our prickly pear and our saguaro. These two are both $16. And look how lovely those colors are together. And like I said, they'll look great with your rabbits are desert animals that we've made. We have wild turkeys here in Arizona too. I don't know that we have peacocks, but you know, it'll still look good next to your peacocks, right? So, and like I said, I will put those on tomorrow or tonight. So, and then we will continue to work on some other animals in the future. So let me put the silver. All right, yay! It's the end of week 31. All right, so I'll be back on Sunday, regular time. We will draw to see what we're gonna make. And like I said, in the meantime, I think, have orders from, I do have orders from Janelda, Lorraine, and Diane confirmed, so you guys will be getting an invoice. If I missed anyone, please message me. And like I said, I will put up the official ordering thing today, but if I already have you down, you do not have to respond to that, okay? And I don't think there's anything else, but just these videos will be on YouTube. They're on Facebook for 30 days, but after that, they're on YouTube. I usually put them up in the next day or so after the show. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel over on YouTube. The idea is that eventually I'll have enough subscribers and I can go live on both at the same time, so I don't have to move videos back and forth. Fortunately, they've made it a lot easier than it used to be, though, so I just have to remember to do it, right? Anyways, I will see you all on Sunday. Thanks again for joining me, and go ahead and be creative. Let's see what you're making in our Bead Stash Challengers, and get you in on our drawings. And I will see you guys on Sunday. Bye.